Så där. A warm welcome to this digital book release of Kattis Olsson's book, The Invisible Pain, My Faithful Companion. And there's a saying that there are two types of pain, one that hurts you and one that changes you. I think we will be proving today that there's a third type of pain, the one where you hurt and then you change, and then you learn from it, and then you also teach others what you've learned. And that's what we'll be talking about today. My name is Ann-Sofie Forsmark. I'm very proud to be hosting, or not hosting, but I'm moderating this session today. And I have done a lot of things in my life. I'm still doing a lot of different things, but I've definitely never done a book release. I've never done a digital book release, but I'm really looking forward to doing this together with you. But enough about me. Kattis is a mental coach. She is also an entrepreneur. And in her work, she helps other entrepreneurs to take care of themselves and perform, but also sustain along the way. I also happen to know that Kattis is an excellent cross-country skiing coach. She's a massage therapist, and now she's an author. Kattis, did I miss something in your introduction?
Maybe mental coach as well.
Mental coach. I said that first.
Oh, sorry.
Got lost.
Maybe I'm too nervous to hear. Thank you. It's an honor to have you as a moderator in my book release today.
My pleasure. And to the audience, we'll be answering questions towards the end, unless there's something that's burning and pressing, and then we ask you to just raise your hand in the chat and we'll try and accommodate. But otherwise, there'll be time for questions towards the end. And as I understand, there are people joining us from all over the world, as it sounds, so that feels amazing this cold and dark December evening in Sweden, where we are.
Yeah.
But in regards to the book, Kattis, how would you describe the book to someone who doesn't know?
I would say it's a book partly about me and my journey for 30 years with 4 different back injuries, 30 years with the constant pain. And but it also have a lot of mindset strategies, life hacks, things you don't think about when you don't have the pain, but things you need to handle when you have pain. So it's both some kind of biography, but also with tools for other people.
And I think for someone who hasn't had constant pain for 30 years, it sounds horrible, but it also sounds hard to understand how is it to have pain for 30 years? Because obviously there will be times when you don't have pain. So can you describe the kind of pain that you've had?
Yeah, I used to say my normal everyday pain, it's like my normal status right now. I really can't remember anything else. But I don't actually, I notice it, but I don't think about it that much. But then I have days when it's really bad and I hardly can walk out the door. So it's everything in between, but I don't have those days every day. So I have good days and bad days, and yeah.
So you could say that maybe the pain has been, if someone would measure it in your body, it could be the same, but you've found ways to handle the pain that makes it less disturbing in your everyday life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, small life hacks like taking a nap almost every day, standing up, and of course do some kind of movement. I don't like to talk about training. I talk about everyday movement, because one day I can run like I did this fall, run a 15K extreme trail run. But for a few weeks ago, I had really much pain and could hardly walk, and had to take my walking poles and walk out the building. But I think, yeah, just to, one thing is the acceptance. I have accepted the pain, and it's like this today, but it doesn't have to be like this tomorrow. So don't get too sad and bitter or angry the times when I have more pain.
And this has been obviously a learning process, and we'll talk about that a bit more. But so you've explained what the book is about, but how come you wrote it now?
Yeah, actually, I have used the writing for most of my life, like my own therapy, and for my maybe 25 years, I've been thinking about, someday I might write a book. And actually a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I get sick. I didn't know if it was ordinary cold or if it was COVID-19. But I had to stay home and couldn't be out in public until I did my test. And it was negative. It wasn't COVID-19. But still, I was home and I wasn't that sick. So suddenly I just started to write, and I just thought, okay, I don't have to do this huge 900 pages book about my life. I do it a little less, little easier to read to my readers as well. So yeah.
So a flu kicked it off. When you explain it that way. But as you say, it's been a building process for a long time. It's not like you haven't written. It's just that you didn't sit down to read a book. And so who's the book for? Who should read it?
I think it's for people who live with long-term pain. And I mean, long-term pain you can get from a lot of different things. But also right now, a lot of people all over the world are suffer from COVID-19. They have been affected in a long term from that, and it's also for them. And I think also for people who maybe have a family member, a partner or friend or colleague or whatever, someone who knows someone who lives with long-term pain, because I think they can really learn a lot from it, to understand and how they can help the friend, partner, or what it is.
Sort of a deeper understanding of what long-term pain is, both as someone who suffers from it, but also as a relative, but then also obviously tools for how to handle it. Because I think some people might think, which I know you've been writing about in the book, but also when we've been talking, accepting the pain doesn't mean that you accept that you're in pain. It just means that you accept that you have to deal with it. And that's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. It took a long time for me to to understand that I should accept the pain as not just to sit down and it's nothing more than this, but to really, okay, this is the way it is right now, but maybe not forever.
I just have to say, it's so fun with Zoom, because this is where I'm looking at you, Kattis, but I see you here. So if my eyes are wandering, it's because you're there, but this is the camera. And it's December 2020, I still haven't learned. But I know you make a distinction, and the professionals also have started to make a distinction between chronic pain and long-term pain. What's the difference? Why is it important?
For me, I have never used the word chronic pain because for me it was like, oh my God, if it's chronic, then it's for the rest of my life. And it was so overwhelming, and I just couldn't bear that thought. So for me, I have always said I live with pain. And long-term pain. And actually, in Sweden, at least, the medicals have said that they're gonna change it, or they have changed it to long-term pain instead of chronic pain, because they say you have long-term pain from after 3 months with pain. But I mean, if you have herniated discs, for example, normally they heal, or maybe you need a surgery, but you're not going to suffer from that pain for the rest of your life. Mostly, there are a few cases that have it, but most people don't suffer from herniated discs for the rest of their lives. So it's really a mental thinking, mindset of how you think of it. Is it chronic? Is it for the rest of your life? Or is it now and maybe a while further, but maybe it's not for the rest of my life.
No, but maybe for a while there, you thought that the accidents were never gonna stop coming. Because first, how old were you when the first accident happened, which was a parachute landing that went, well, let's say, quite horribly wrong? How old were you then?
I was 16 years old.
16. And then it didn't deter you from keep doing adventurous stuff. So the next thing that happened was when you were roller skating.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I was 26 at that time.
You really should know better when you're 26. We shouldn't rollerblade. And then
I don't think it's an extreme sport, though.
No, isn't that what you had to tell your parents as well?
Yeah.
But that was the second, and then the third thing that happened was a car accident, and we wouldn't call that an extreme sport either.
No, the third thing was 3 herniated discs. And the fourth thing was the car accident.
The fourth was the car accident.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track on the injuries.
Yeah, and
realize that.
Keep them in order, which is horrible in itself. But I remember you telling me, but also writing in the book, that as the accident kept happening, and I mean these aren't like the normal kind of thing that you fall over and you scrape your knee or whatever. There's serious accidents that need you restarting your rehabilitation, being in the hospital, and you said that after a while you sort of lost your spark of life, because you couldn't tell yourself that this isn't going to happen again, because obviously it kept happening, and you lost your spark of life. But we can see that today you've obviously got it back, and I think people can relate to, even if they haven't been through the same thing, when tough things keep happening, you're not really responsive to someone telling you to cheer up and just, get up and keep fighting. And you feel like you want to give up. When you felt that way, what did you do?
I guess I just took one step at a time, and I knew I had the mental strength, the mental resilience to get up again, but I was so tired of fighting of all this rehabilitation and everything. So I was like, oh, I don't have the power to do it. But in some way, I just knew, okay, no one else is going to do it for me. I have to take it one step at a time, get on up, do it again, and so on. And I guess here was when I really, really understood the importance of acceptance, to accept the situation and realizing that it's not the same as accepting and just letting it go away, but just to, okay, this is the way it is right now. Who can do something about it? Well, no one else. I knew that. So I just have to do it on my own, and then I get really, really good help from pain rehabilitation, and they really get me my life and my laughter back again. Because as you, sorry.
No, I was just reflecting on when you said accepting, and I just got a picture of the acceptance. The difference between accepting and then acting on it sounds like you're accepting that this is where you're at, and from here I need to act. Whereas if you don't accept where you're at, you can't start acting on it because you haven't accepted where you're at. So you accepted that this is where I'm at, this is how much pain I have, and this is the injuries I have. And that's the thing you need to do first before you can act on what the next step is. And as you said, you were actually getting help this time from someone else.
And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm also writing in the book about that time at the Pain Rehabilitation Center, because it was really changing a lot for me, and made me understand a lot more. And I think that's important to understand your own pain. And
So what would be your recommendation to someone who can relate to this? And I can, like we said before, it could be that you're in physical pain, but it could also be that other things in life are just not going your way, and you feel like you're always struggling. And like you said, you knew what you had to do, but you were just fed up having to do it over and over again. And I think people can relate to this in different ways. So what would be your tips to someone who feels like I'm fed up? It could be with COVID, it could be something else.
It is like a lot of things is the acceptance, the adaptation, how you adapt to things. We can't do anything about the COVID situation, the pandemic all over the world, except that, yes, we need to have our physical distance. That is why we are in separate places, for example, right now. If it was a normal life, we shouldn't have this book release digital at all before COVID. But I mean, we can't do anything about it, except that we just have to handle it right now. Okay, this is the way it is. Do I want to put a lot of negative energy in things I can't do anything about? It would just steal a lot of energy from me. And I still can't do anything about it, except that I'm getting more tired, more frustrated, more angry or sad or whatever it is. So in somehow accept that this is what it is right now, but don't get stuck in it.
No. And I can also reflect on accepting where you're at. It really needs that you actually have to find the true situation, because sometimes we have a false appearance of where we're at. We might say, oh, I can't see anyone, I can't do anything, and that's not the truth. So I guess sometimes you have to also get help to define what's actually to accept. Yeah. So if you were making, okay, so I'm accepting that I can never move again, that wasn't the truth. It was, I can't move and do everything I want right now, but I will be able to in the future. And you might need help to challenge the truth that you're feeling at the moment, that everything feels hopeless and someone needs to help you. But I know myself that if things are really, really bad, I don't, you don't like when someone is being too cheery and too positive, because they don't know what you've been through at the moment.
Exactly. The sharing people are, I mean, I'm a quite sharing person, but I also understand that, well, in some ways you can't just be positive. It's not about that, but I think just empathy is more of what you can offer to a friend or partner or colleague, who is suffering.
Exactly. You don't always have to come up with the solution, but you can always be lending an ear to listen, and sometimes that in itself helps, and sometimes obviously you need to do more. But not being afraid to ask how someone is, I guess, is an important advice as well, and not scared from it. And talking about being a bit afraid, there was a word that we looked up just before, or we didn't look up it just beforehand because you've been acquainted to it for a long time, but it was hard to pronounce. Kinesophobia or kinesophobia. So as we said, not being scared of the Chinese because of the virus, but kinesophobia has to do with being scared to move due to the pain that the movement in itself might cause. Obviously, the body remembers. And if you've been hurt by moving, then you can be scared to move, because, and I can definitely relate to this myself when I've injured myself, that it feels scary. The things that I used to do feel scary because I don't know what's going to trigger the pain that I had before. But the contradiction is that the movement is what's going to help you heal. And you talk about this in your book, and you said you felt it yourself, being scared to move, even though you knew you had to move. So how do we relate to this kind of fear?
Yeah, it is really, really a common thing with people who have pain in one way or another. I mean, just if you have a broken leg and start walking on that again after the plaster is off, it's going to hurt, and it's going to take a while for you to get up and do ordinary things again. But to understand that the long-term pain isn't there to say to you that it is dangerous. Acute pain is there to tell us that it's dangerous. Something is wrong. If you put your hand on on a hot stove, you're instantly gonna drag it away because it hurts. So that acute pain is there to protect us, to help us understand that we shouldn't do that. But the long-term pain is like, it's a bit hard to describe, but the easiest way, I think, is like there have been some wrong connections in the nervous system. So, and it doesn't mean that the pain isn't real, because I know some people are like, well, it's not real then. Yes, it is very real, but it's not. It doesn't have the same function as acute pain, and that is one important thing to learn and to know, that okay, so if this hurts a little bit more, yeah, but it's still not dangerous for me to do it. But I don't skydive anymore.
No, I was going to say, you can do a lot of things, but you don't do everything. And I guess the distinction could be hard to know, is this pain bad or this isn't? But then it comes back to perhaps getting professional help, but then also learning to know your body, as I know that you do, because you have, as you say, it is your faithful companion, as the book title says. And but I know, since I know you, I know that you've found ways to sort of buffer around things that you do so that you can minimize the pain. And you also know, I know a few weeks ago when you mentioned that your pain got worse, and we'd actually met, so I felt really bad, but you said yourself that you just added on things during the day, and you almost knew that it was going to come. So you need to learn your pain pattern. And I guess this goes for other things as well. When people get very, very tired, they need to backtrack and see how much have I sort of overloaded my system. So I think there's a lot of parallels from what you're teaching in the book, that we can cross the word pain out and use stress or other challenges.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the same things you need to deal with, and exactly track what have you done, and also like nowadays I'm scheduling recovery time every day. I'm scheduling my everyday movement in my calendar, so I get the time for that, and I am quite tough on not taking it away. Of course, some days, shit happens, really. Yeah. So, but the most important thing is that it doesn't have to be like that every day. Like if I don't get the recovery time one day, well, that's okay. If I just make sure I'm gonna get it the days before and after. But I call it like a budgeting your time. Like, okay, so I have these things I need to do. Okay, so then I do a budget of my time. And then I can see, okay, is it going to be a bit too much? And then I need to do the consequence analysis. Is it worth it? Is it not?
So what you're describing is something that most people should do before something actually happens, but people don't tend to do until something happens. It's the time and energy budget. Is this going to be too much? Probably, as we both know, most people budget too much in and then not enough recovery, and it never pays off in the end.
No.
And I know we've talked about as well that, and you mentioned it too, that we can't compare physical pain to COVID-19, or perhaps we can. What parallels can you see to the way that we are sort of suffering is a strong word, but some people are actually really, really suffering from this, both as they worry about relatives who are ill, or if they're ill themselves, or if it's about losing their job, or as we're coming up towards Christmas, and a lot of people they haven't seen their family for a very long time. And maybe we thought if we knew in March that this was gonna keep going for the whole year, I think a lot of people would have been very depressed already then. But here we are. It's the 14th of December, and this Christmas it isn't going to be the same. And like I said, a lot of other challenges are going on as well. So can you see that the tools that you describe, can they also help in regards to dealing with COVID?
Yes, absolutely. Because as I mentioned earlier, that it is kind of the same handling process, how you manage it. So the mental resilience part is really what you can use for everything in life, and especially this COVID thing. I totally agree with you. If someone said in March that, okay, you're gonna be some countries are in lockdown. We're not in lockdown in Sweden, but very close to it. I guess as close as we can get without getting a formal lockdown. And it is a tough time for everyone, but you still just need to adapt to it. Okay, this is the situation. I can't do anything about it more than I keep the distance, I wash my hands, I try to not meet too many people, and so on. But that's what I can do. And I can't get the virus to go away, but I can decide to handle it, that like, okay, I shouldn't be too depressed all the time, at least. I mean, I have bad days too, so don't think that I am just the happy girl all the time. I have bad days. I also feel sad, angry, bitter, or whatever feeling, because I've learned it's no idea to just put them in again, let them come out. But I learned that never get stuck in the dark area for a longer time. But absolutely, these are tools you can use for like everything in your everyday life. Long-term pain, COVID-19, stress. So yeah.
Coming back to that acceptance. So if we can accept that these are the restrictions that are at us, this is what it's like right now. And then I can feel sometimes that if I can find someone that I can just spew about it for a moment, then I feel ready. I feel sort of, I've emptied all my grumpiness and my being upset, and now I'm ready to act. But I have to do that first. I can't skip that bit. I can't just be positive. I have to be grumpy first, and then I want to solve the situation.
Exactly. I mean, we wouldn't be human beings if we didn't get grumpy or angry or sad things. Then we would be like robots. So it's a natural thing to have those feelings. So yeah, I mean, you can't just go along and have a big smile every day. Oh, it's so funny, this pandemic. Happy, joy. Can't say that.
You have to sort of see where people are at when you meet them as well. Some people are responsive to you being, oh, let's just meet outside. And some people you can see, no, they're not really there at the moment. Yeah. That's okay too. The same with your pain, although I think having known you for a while and we interact, you disguise, I don't know if I should say disguise very well, if you have a bad day, but you also say, oh, this isn't a good day, and then we go, oh, and you feel sorry for you, but then you sort of I don't know, you can't tell anymore. If we're in a meeting, you say it first, and then the rest of the meeting, I can't remember thinking, oh yeah, she's in pain, because you've managed it, you've learned to manage it. But you also tell people that today isn't a good day, and yeah, you have respect for what you need. And I think that's important in regards to COVID as well. What do I need today? What kind of energy do I need?
Exactly. And the communication, I mean, it's my responsible to communicate that, okay, so this isn't a good day for me. So maybe I need help with something, or maybe I'm not the best brain companion today. Like I can't be creative today because the pain is taking too much energy. But if I say that, it's also easier for you in my surrounding to deal with it. But if I don't say it, you don't know, and you're gonna start asking, what's with Caris? She's like, she's here, but she's not here. What's with her? Like, so this communication thing is also really important, both for yourself and for the people around you. And that doesn't mean that I feel like, oh, I like you to pity me. That's not it. I just, okay, this is the deal today, and don't feel sorry for me. It's not like that, but you just know what I have to deal with, and maybe I just can't be 120% producer of anything today.
Communicating, and as I guess you want to send out as well, don't be afraid to ask. It's better to ask, because otherwise your mind will be distorted, wondering what's going on. It's better to ask, is everything okay? And then the person will hopefully explain what's needed, because sometimes you just have to I want to come back a bit to the book writing, because it's not something, as we say in Swedish, you snot out from your nose just any day, but it's almost what you've done because you didn't start writing too long ago, and it was a quite quick process to write. What did you learn during the process of writing?
Well, I learned that maybe it's good for me to slow down sometimes, but because when I'm in this kind of flow, I'm not in there every day, I promise you, but when I get in this flow, I just kept on writing and writing and writing, and it was maybe I sat too long for a while, but also why I wrote it in English. I mean, I'm from Sweden, so yeah. But I think the English language has more words for something. So it was kind of easier to write in English, actually. And I know that there are many people out there suffering from long-term pain or from stress or so on. So I thought, yeah, I want to help them. Actually, this is why I became a massage therapist and a mental coach at the first place.
This is like the third tool, that you have your massage, which it means you need to meet people. Mental coaching, you can obviously do a bit like we're doing now, but then this is the you can read and understand what to do. And I know in Sweden at the moment there are a lot of people who are suffering the long-term effects of COVID, and I think it's hard to say at the moment. We'll have to look back in a year and say, how big a proportion who actually suffers from this. But we talked about that the connection to the process of long-term pain is very similar. You have to accept, take baby steps, and have mental and physical tools to work with to handle it and to be able to move forward and do your rehabilitation.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. It's cold tea, but it was pretty good. Yeah, because definitely, like we said, it's not, we can't say what kind of pain it is, because the process is going to be the same. If you're suffering from something that's following you and only you, but it affects people around you, then that definitely relates to what you're describing and giving tips about in your book.
Yeah.
And so did this want you to keep writing and write more?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I've always loved to write, but I do it not all the time, but absolutely. So yeah, there might be another book. Who knows? But maybe not in the next 3 weeks. So yeah.
A bit of Christmas holiday first.
Yeah, exactly. I think I need some rest after this.
So you're writing about your pain and you're writing about things that it has restricted you from doing, but we've also seen that you've done things, like we said, you've done a charity, my charity race, as it happens, this autumn, and it is extreme. It's one of the most extreme courses in Stockholm, and it was 15K, and it's not, like I said, it's not a flat 15K, we can say that much. It's a pretty hilly 15K. What's something else that you, with the tools that you have, the mental tools and taking care of your body, a physical challenge that you would like to do in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I always had the Vasaloppet in mind since I was a cross-country skier. But I'm not sure I'm going to do it. Actually, I did the relay.
Yeah.
Stafettvasan. Yeah. It was last year. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like to go skiing, cross-country skiing in particular, but also kayaking and biking. And yeah, I like to be outside, outdoors, and doing stuff. And actually, I set a goal for May, which is Göteborgsvarvet, the world's biggest half marathon. And it's on asphalt road, so it's a bit tougher for me. But I think with more like conscious training, like really taking it step by step, I can do it.
Definitely, we know you can. Yeah. So we're just gonna have to hope that the COVID isn't gonna cancel it next year. I think if someone asks, that's fine, it's nothing to worry about. Of course it's gonna go ahead. And then now it's like, I don't want to say anything that's gonna go ahead. But then you can always do it like your own way. I mean, you can do your own. You can do all this virtual racing nowadays, even if it's not the same as running in a packed Gothenburg as it is.
Not at all. So it's the whole feeling in Gothenburg. I like to feel as well.
That's a big part of it. Although asphalt you can find around your house.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really inspiring, knowing how long a journey you've done coming back from when you were at your worst, and with all the injuries you have, and then being there when you did the race. I mean, it wasn't even the first extreme race you did either. You did other extreme mountain races as well, and I know that you said one time that when you were not in the middle of your rehab, you were pretty much in the beginning of your rehabilitation. You would run, what did you say, 100 meters, and then you thought, no, this works. So, and then you signed up for a race. So you've been very good at setting up targets for yourself and then working towards them. But I guess along the way, even if it wasn't rock bottom, but then your motivation is faltering as it would. What do you do nowadays if you have a low and you want to get a high, you want to raise your motivation? What do you do?
As you said, I set goals, and I did it with this book as well. I set a goal. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write a book. Okay, I'm gonna have it out before Christmas. So I just set a date and I had it finished. So that is one of my strengths, that I really can set up motivational goals for me. But if it's not motivational enough for me, then I'm not gonna keep on doing it or aiming for it. But of course, we all have our lower periods with lack of motivation, and then I just have to, okay, so what can I do that I think is fun right now, which still keeps me going towards my goal, but maybe in another way that I had thought.
That's clever. I think a lot of people can take that with them as well. And also reflecting on, is it my goal? The goals that you set, they're your goals. They're not goals that are set by someone on Instagram. And then you thought, oh, that looks fun, I'll pick that up. So it's important that the goals are right, because then it'd be easier to find the motivation. And as you say, there could be one road straight ahead towards your goals, but sometimes you have to take a quirky road because of day form, sort of. Excellent. Well, there's one thing that I really take away from your book, and that's the insight that you can't help what's got me here. You can't help what's happened, but you have every way to affect how I'm going to get out of the situation that I'm in. And I think that goes, like we've said before during this hour, for a lot of other things in life. I can't do anything about the past, and I can't do anything about what got me here, but I can be in charge of how to move forward.
Exactly. It's a choice, and to know there is a choice. Actually, I think I might just
I think you should get your pictures up, because they're really nice, and they give a stronger message, I think.
Yeah. You see my presentation now? Soon, maybe?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is today. That picture to the right is actually from your race that I ran this fall. And this is from my parachute, my skydiving. This is actually 1.5 years after my 3 herniated discs. I ran a quarter marathon that is 13.2K, and it was also in the Swedish mountains, so it was not a flat race at all.
Nowhere. It was
nowhere.
Not even.
Maybe just to the goal right behind me. It's slightly uphill, but not that much. But yeah. And this is the picture I wanted to show you, that I have 3 choices, and I understood this quite early. I mean, I have the choice to just end my life and there's no more pain and no other things as well. It is a choice, and the thoughts have been there, but I was always too curious of life to complete that, and I'm thankful for that, of course. And the second option is to just lay down on the sofa and be bitter or sad or angry and think, okay, this is so typical. Why is it happening to me? And I mean, it wouldn't make me better in any way. I would suffer from even more pain if I didn't move myself. So that it's not an option either, but there is a choice that I could choose if I wanted to. But I always choose number 3, to raise me up, do what I can, and enjoying life most of the days.
Very inspiring. We're very happy you made that choice, and also that you're sharing your learnings along the way, because we know that a lot of people need it, regardless of if it's discs causing trouble or accidents or life happening.
Yeah, I mean, life happens all the time, and you can be in an accident, or you can be sick, or I mean, there are so many things that can happen to you, but you still have the choice, and the choice is yours. Because I can give you all the tools I have, and all the best doctors in the world can give you the best treatment and everything. But if you yourself don't want to do it, if you're not open to deal with it and handle it step by step, then it's not gonna work. No. So it is up to yourself. If you are open to let other people help you.
Exactly. You have to do it, but there's a lot more help to get than you'd think.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And did we have any? I love your photos. There we go. This is what it was all about. I thought we were just having a chat, you and me, but I just remembered that it's a book release.
It's a book release. Yeah, it is. And
this is what
I can just say something about the cover, because this is quite a lot me. Most people see me like the girl in the pink blouse and the fighting spirit and so on. But there is always my faithful companion. It's always there behind me. And I could have chosen to say my hateful back injury, my worst enemy or anything. But I mean, it's only me who would suffer from that. Because when I realized I could stop fighting against the pain and instead become friend with the pain, like, okay, so this is right now. But tomorrow I can do these things I want to do. And then it's much easier. I don't have to have that inner war all the time. And it makes life so much easier.
Steering your energy towards the right things. Yeah. Excellent.
Like, I'm nudging my pain to the best part of it, or yeah.
No, I think you explained it very, very clear picture of how to deal with it, which is it's helping me. I'm not in long-term pain, but I have pain that keeps coming back, and it's I'm not really there that I'm calling it my faithful companion. I swear quite a lot when it happens, but you've given me some tools to think about it. So I'm hoping that some of the people who joined us have some questions or comments, and you're more than welcome to either write it in the chat or just switch your microphone on, for that matter, and say something.
Yeah, exactly. I can not see any questions right now.
No, I'm going.
But feel free to ask away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, it's Camilla here. Congrats to your book, Kattis. I'm looking forward to reading it. I have one question, and it's regarding the pain, of course. But how has the pain shifted through the years?
Yeah, it's been shifted because it's been so many different kind of injuries. So it's been really different. For example, when I get herniated discs, which also impacted the ischiatic nerve, and I said I walk like Quasimodo, the ringer from Notre Dame, because I just couldn't walk. Normally, I can get my right leg with me. I sometimes had to lift it, and that is like the worst pain I've felt. It is really, really horrible. I don't even wish that to my worst enemy. And then we have from the car accident, the whiplash injury in my neck, which gives me the headache, like, well, where I want to cut my head off. I just want to grab the axe and cut my head off, not to commit suicide, but just to get rid of the head, because the pain is like if I can swear, it's like hell. Yeah, I can't describe it any better. I suffered from migraine, but it's nothing in the same area. So it's been different kinds of pain, and different from how I got them, and which treatment I got, and also how fast I get treatment.
Yeah. Understand.
Was it?
Yeah, but also one more question. How does the walking or training, how does that affect on your pain?
Actually, mostly walking and like everyday movement is much better for me. Like even the worst days when I suffer from a lot of pain, it's better for me to try to walk just shorter walks than to just be totally still, because it hurts me more to be totally still, but I need to find a balance between the movement and the rest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Camilla.
Someone else?
I'm just gonna drop the link as well in the chat. Was it someone?
No, that was you in the leaving the link. And what would be? I mean, one call to action is to buy the book. It could be a Christmas present for someone, of course. But what would be something else that you would like to send along to people who've been listening to do?
I also have a Facebook group, and it's called Become the CEO of Your Pain, because I think it's the best description I've got to become the CEO, to really get in charge of your pain. And that is how it can be your faithful companion. So you can look at it as your, I don't know, HR department or something. Yeah, so you can join my Facebook group there. And soon I'm going to also start a digital course with both live sessions, webinars, more deep diving into how to handle it, and so it's going to be a lot more about what is the pain physically, what is how do you communicate with yourself and with other people, and acceptance is of course a big area here. So that course is going to come up soon, but if you join my Facebook group or follow me in social media, you will see when it is released. But of course, buying the book at first to understand a bit more of what I have learned through these 30 years. I think I'm going ahead of my pain, of my back right now, having this 30 years anniversary a bit ahead, because it's next year, it's 2021. Yeah.
It sounds like the course, that could be someone's faithful companion. If they're not ready to call their pain a faithful companion, then the course and you as a potential coach could be a faithful companion.
Yeah, exactly. And that is one thing with the course, that I will be there. I will be helping, supporting, pepping, teaching. And I mean, I have my education as a mental coach and a massage therapist. And I also have lots of professors who are actually doing research and scientific, what do you say? Science. Within pain rehabilitation, pain physiology, and so on. So I use the science. My course is based on science, but also, of course, of my own experience, and that is, I think it's a good. Like some people I have worked with who I've coached before said that, well, no one could have explained the pain like I can do for them. And that is, I guess, due to I know the feeling myself, because it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a physiotherapist or naturopath or whatever, if you haven't been there, if you haven't had that suffering from that pain, you can't really understand what's it all about. You can know everything around it, but you can't describe the feeling. You maybe don't understand all the way.
Well, that would be the only benefit from having to gone through it, is that you have a unique experience and a way to describe it.
Yeah.
Say it was worth it, but still, if we can help out.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Our time is up, but we're obviously taking more questions if you have them. But is there a paper book at this? Can you? A physical book.
So far, it's only an ebook, and it's EPUB format, so you can use it with Apple's books, for example, and also when you go into the site, there are also options for PC and Android, as you can see. But it works wherever you can read an ebook. You can read this book, since I wrote this, started to write this 3 weeks ago, I didn't really have it printed on paper, but maybe it will be someday. But not before Christmas. That is
before Christmas. No. But what if I buy the book? Can I print it?
No, you can't from the ebook.
There's benefits to that too, because you can carry it with you on your phone or your iPad or whatever it's called, whatever you read on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can bookmark and you can do your own notes and so on. But maybe someday it will be a paper book as well.
Bob says, thank you for writing this book. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, well, I hope you've all signed up to buy the book, joined Katty's Facebook group, and thank you for joining us. It's been great. It's been, fantastic having people joining us from all over, as it seems. And thank you, Kattis, for the honor of doing this together with you today.
I want to thank you as well for it's an honor for me for having you as a moderator for this event. I'm really
next time we do it in the same room. It's not Corona next time.
No, exactly. But I think still we can have it physically and digital next time.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's thanks to Corona, actually, that we can have people from all over the world in here right now. That is a cool thing, but Corona is not.
No, exactly.
And I want to wish you Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Thank you. Yes, agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight, and hopefully you have some people might have seen this on YouTube as well. I hope it worked, the link. And I want to say thank you to all, and thank you, Ann-Sofie. And I also want to thank Vårgård in Saltsjöbaden, where I have sit in this lovely room.
Very nice room, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll send an email to everyone who has been in this meeting, also with the links. So thank you, and have a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.